"Mom, your dog is dead." Those words hung in the air like smoke after a gunshot, thick, toxic, irreversible. Mom froze at the stove, a wooden spoon in her hand, shock and horror twisting her face. I leaned against the kitchen doorway, my fingers clenched around the car key in my robe pocket. My heart hammered as if trying to escape the weight of what I'd just said. "What?" she whispered, as if she couldn't believe her ears. "You heard me. I killed Buddy. Your damn dog." She dropped the spoon. It splashed into the simmering soup. Slowly, she turned to face me. Her face went pale, her lips trembling. You're joking?" "No. He's dead. He's in the garage. I put him in the old toolbox." She took a step forward, then another. Tears filled her eyes, but I didn't look away. I'd waited years for this moment. Not for the dog's death, of course not. But for the moment she'd look at me the way she never had before, with pain, with loss, with the dawning realization that her world could shatter as easily as mine once did. "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Why would you do that?" "Because you chose him over me." She froze. The kitchen fell silent except for the ticking clock and a distant siren outside. In the last 10 years, I'd never once seen Mom cry, not when Dad died, not when I left home at 16. But now tears streamed down her cheeks, raw and real. "You've lost your mind, Emily." "No, Mom. I just finally stopped pretending everything was okay. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 28. I work as an accountant at a small firm in Austin, Texas. I have an apartment, a car, a cat named Mrs. Hudson, and a life that looks perfectly normal from the outside. But inside, everything has been rubble for a long time. Mom, Linda Carter, still lives in the same suburban Austin house where I grew up. After Dad died when I was 13, she was left alone. And instead of drawing closer to me, she replaced me. First with a cat, then a dog. Eventually, it seemed, she stopped noticing I even existed. Buddy was her latest child. A Labrador she'd bought 3 years ago, after I'd already moved out. He slept in her bed, ate from her plate, walked with her every morning and night. And me? I'd call every couple of weeks, and she'd answer distractedly, as if I were interrupting her show or her cuddle session with Buddy. "Hi, Mom. How are you?" "Oh, hey, Emily. Hang on." "Buddy, no. Yeah, I'm great, sweetie. How about you?" "Fine. Just wanted to check in." "Wonderful. Hey, don't forget my birthday's Saturday. You're coming, right?" "Of course." "Great. Just please don't be late. Buddy's been waiting for you." And there it was, the line she added almost every time. "Buddy's been waiting for you." As if he were my brother. As if he were the one she loved. I'd visit. Smile. Pet the dog. Bring gifts. Then drive away with a lump in my throat that grew heavier with every visit. The final straw was last Thanksgiving. I cooked a turkey, made casseroles, baked pies. Brought wine, candles, even a new throw blanket for the couch. When I arrived, Mom was in the kitchen with Buddy on her lap, feeding him pieces of turkey from her plate. On the table sat a half-unwrapped Costco holiday meal. "Oh, Emily. You're so sweet, but we already ate." Buddy was so hungry today. I stood there with grocery bags in my hands, feeling something inside me finally snap. "You didn't say you weren't waiting for me." "Well, I thought you'd be late, like usual." "I never ran late. Never." That night, I didn't stay. I unloaded everything into the fridge and left. Mom didn't even come to the door, just called from the kitchen. "Thanks for the food." "Buddy says thank you." I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. And that's when I knew, if I wanted her to feel even a fraction of what I'd carried for years, loneliness, rejection, the ache of being replaced by something that couldn't even speak, I'd have to do something that would break her heart. I didn't kill Buddy. But Mom doesn't know that. Yesterday evening, I came over under the pretense of helping with the garden. While she was distracted, I quietly locked the dog in the neighbor's shed. The owners, an elderly couple, were away visiting their daughter for a week. I knew Buddy would be safe: water, food, a soft mat. He wouldn't even realize he'd been kidnapped. He'd just think it was a new game. Then I went back inside, waited until Mom stepped into the shower, and placed Buddy's old blanket in the garage toolbox. I covered it with black cloth, just enough to make it look like something still and lifeless from a distance. Dead. And then I said those words. You couldn't have. Mom gripped the edge of the counter like she might collapse. You love animals. I loved you, Mom. More than anyone. And you gave your love to a dog. That's not true, she cried. You just don't understand. You left, Emily. You left me alone after your father died. I was a child. I shot back. A 13-year-old who needed her mother. And you disappeared into yourself. You hid behind your cats, your dogs, your TV shows. You didn't even notice when I started cutting myself at 15. She recoiled as if slapped. What? Yes. I cut myself. Every night. For months. And you know who noticed first? Not you. My literature teacher. She called social services. And you? You said I was just seeking attention. Mom sank into a chair, her head bowed. Tears dripped onto the floor. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Because that would have meant stepping out of your perfect little life, where everything's under control, where no one demands anything from you except a kind word for your dog. Silence. Only her ragged breathing. Where is he? She whispered. Who? Buddy. I walked slowly to her and took her shaking hand. He's alive, Mom. He's in the Holt shed. I just needed you to feel what it's like to lose the one you love most. She looked up at me. There was no anger in her eyes, only pain. And maybe, for the first time in years, understanding. Forgive me, Emily. I forgive you too. For scaring you. But I needed you to see me. The real me. Not the one who smiles and brings pies. The one who's been broken inside. She stood and pulled me into a hug tight, the way she hadn't since I was 10. I've missed you so much. I've missed you too. An hour later, we walked together to the Holt's house. Mom trembled, but held my hand. When we opened the shed door, Buddy wagged his tail wildly, ran to her, and licked her face. She laughed through her tears. He's such a silly boy, she said, hugging him close. Yes, I smiled. But he loves you. And you. I looked at her, truly looked, without bitterness for the first time in years. I love you too, Mom. Just differently. She nodded. She understood. The next day, I came back. We drank coffee on the porch. Buddy slept at her feet. I told her about work, my cat, my dream of opening my own accounting firm. She listened. Really listened. No distractions. No phone. No constant petting of the dog every 5 minutes. You've grown up, she said finally. And become so strong. I had to be strong, I replied. But I would have preferred just being loved. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You were always loved. I just didn't know how to show it. Will you learn now? I promise. Revenge is a strange thing. It doesn't bring relief. It doesn't undo the past. But sometimes it becomes a bridge, not to destruction, but to something new. To a chance to begin again. I didn't kill the dog. But maybe I killed the version of myself who stayed silent, who suffered in silence, who pretended everything was fine. And that was my real revenge, not against her, but against the pain I'd carried for so long. Now I'm free. And maybe, just maybe, both of us, Mom and I, can finally just be ourselves. Without masks. Without dogs standing between us. Without silence. Because sometimes, to be heard, you have to make someone feel your pain. Even if it means playing a cruel game. But the game is over. Now, something real begins.